And we're green.
Hey.
We are up and running.
Intro.
Intro. Oh, let's just hit the intro right off the bat?
Yeah.
We can do that.
He invented a wonderful drink and he made it out of hops.
All right, we're back. Okay.
Hey.
We're live. We are beer drinkers with a Bible Fetish. I am Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And we're back from a couple of weeks actually doing it here in the normal spot.
Right.
We haven't been around. Or I was in Washington last week. We did the remote one. That was pretty cool. With my future son-in-law. And then you were at home, I think, right? Doing it at home.
I was on baby duty.
Yeah, we had a lot of technical difficulties that night.
did.
You and your Skype and stuff trying to get the thing working, the mic working. So we actually pulled mic in from one source and camera in from another.
Yep. So
And
if
then-
there was a delay or if it's weird, that's the...
So I actually watched part of it. It wasn't too bad.
No, I was going to say it didn't sound terrible.
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty good. So anyway, we're here and we're back to normal. In fact, here we can even kind of do a damn. That's right.
Yep.
So anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to rate a couple beers tonight. I picked up a beer while I was in Washington for us to try.
Yeah, it looked like it's out of Idaho. So.
It's out of, was it Idaho or was it out of, I'm not sure quite where it is. It's up in that area. It's one of the, it's from the same ones that I think it was from the same one that I rated last week, the No Lie. So I think it's one of theirs. And then we've got a Red Horse is what we're going to start with. Let's show you that Red Horse beer. Look at that. So I picked this up actually yesterday. I thought it looked pretty good. Imported by Skaggs. It's actually a San Miguel beer. So a lot of you probably heard of San Miguel. So this is one of their beers that they came out with. It's pretty strong. It's an 8%.
Yep.
8% by volume. You know, it's interesting because I got back, I stopped in Utah on the way back. And the wife and I decided, man, I need a beer. After a long day drive, I've been driving, started about 8 in the morning. We stopped at about 7.
Yeah.
Covered about 700 miles.
In one day.
In that time, yeah, one day. And so anyway, I thought, man, I'm going to get me a beer. So I go over to the local gas station or the truck stop, and I had read something that Utah, has 3-2 beer.
They do.
And that's pretty much all they have.
No, it's not all they have.
Okay, in the liquor store, it's all they have. I looked at all the beers there. I was going through every single one of them, and they were all of them 3-2.
Just to clarify, because when we went up for our camping trip in Cedar, and I went and talked to the liquor store and then the people at the ski resort, anything on draft, I believe it is, has to be below 5%.
Okay.
And then the bottled beers can still come in at full capacity.
Okay, these were all bottled beers there. They were all 3-2.
Now,
even like Corona, which I was surprised, was like 3-2.
But that would not be a Utah decision. That would be a decision by the beer manufacturer, knowing they'd probably sell more of it, knowing people would probably be, culturally wise, people would be more likely to buy the 3-2 instead of
that's
in the normal. So it's not. But I want people to know this isn't a Utah thing, because Utah gets a lot of crap. They should get crap for what they actually do wrong.
Well,
and not just because of I'm going to trash.
I'm just saying you had no choice where I went to buy. Oh, and then I looked up. There was a pub nearest. I thought about walking over to this country bar that was right there in front of us. And I'm one that I don't pay cover charges. If you're going to charge me a cover charge to get in and drink beer, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I'm already spending my money in there. I'm not paying a cover charge.
Right.
So we got up there and they were going to charge a cover charge. There's nobody in the place. It's completely dead. I'm like, I'm not paying you. I'm going to go in here and spend money. I'm not paying you. And he's like, okay. I'm like, okay, bye. So, but anyway, I was reading their Yelp reviews, a lot of 1 stars, but a lot of people complaining, 3-2 beer. And the owner was responding to that too, saying, yeah, we wish we could get other beer, but that's all we can get.
Right.
And he specifically said that on this Yelp site to a few people. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe it's that area, maybe it's that part of Utah.
Draft, maybe that's all the draft, it has to be a specific one.
Well, this was draft and bottle, it looked like. But, I mean, so that's... Anyway, but maybe that's regions of Utah does it, too. This was in Ogden. So maybe Ogden has that, specification
when I was in downtown Salt Lake, you could get regular beer from the bars. And
that's what I thought when I was there, too, but...
So you just have to go to...
That's why I'm wondering if it's like a city ordinance maybe, too, in some areas,
I think it's all just market-based. People are going to sell what they know they can get, and if they can't get it... You can open mine because I refuse to use a screwdriver.
That bottle was a little tough to open up.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was, look at it. It destroyed that cap, too.
Yeah, Utah's just one of those weird places. Like, you have to know where to go and go to the right places. You can find what you're looking for.
Apparently so.
But I mean, you don't have like a mess. I mean, in Salt Lake,
San Miguel really gets these things on good.
Yeah, they do.
Holy cow.
Really struggling.
There it goes.
Like downtown Salt Lake, there's a really good population, like secularist population. So you have a lot of options. But look at it this way. In Utah, at least you have plenty of places where you can buy beer. Cheers. You're not going to do our pour?
Oh, yeah. We have the beer pour, which is what we're supposed to be doing here.
Yep. Here we go.
Let's see. Yep. Pour that beer, man. Look at that. Doesn't that look refreshing? Just looking at that, doesn't that look refreshing? This
smells really good. Like just the initial smell. Yeah.
I cheated. I actually had one last night. So, but it's not bad.
No.
I was kind of impressed. Wow. It was the first time I had it.
Yeah, initial. That's not bad.
Red beer. So, kind of a high alcohol red beer.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the nice thing about Utah is at least there's plenty of places to buy liquor and beer. Because, like, when I've gone to North Carolina, when I was in North Carolina, when we wanted to go, but you can buy beer at the grocery store.
Okay.
But if you want liquor, you had to go to a state-run liquor store.
A lot of states are that way,
and they're closed on certain times and everything. Yeah. Like, that's more annoying than the alcohol content. You can only get them from certain places, and you have to buy it from the government.
Yeah, a lot of states are that way, too. Yeah, they separate beer and liquor. And
see, this is why I love living in a state like Nevada, because you can buy it anywhere,
24 hours a day.
Yep. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Somebody is willing to sell you something.
Oh,
even if
it's like what time's the bar close? Close. What do you mean close?
When's last call?
We don't close. Yeah.
What is last call?
Yeah, we don't have last call.
Hell, most of the gas stations.
We have 2 happy hours a lot of the time here. You have the afternoon happy hour.
No, it's 3. Because remember, it's like 4 to 7.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then that's your normal happy hour.
And then you get like the late night happy hour from like 9 to 12.
Some of them I think do, yeah.
Like the 9 to 12.
But a lot of them will do the early morning one,
But then they'll do like the midnight to 5 a.m. happy hour. So it's like depending on where you go, you can get like you could pretty much find happy hour almost any time of the day.
I remember the first one right after I moved here. So I was working. I lived on one side of town, driving to the other side of town for work. And I remember driving several times. I would be calling my wife up, going, "It's like 6 in the morning right now, and I'm following a drunk driver." You sit and watch people swerve, 6, 7 a.m. I'm watching them. This was common at 6 or 7 a.m., and morning traffic's starting to come out for people that are going to work for normal hours. And these people are driving drunk on the road. I'm like, what a bunch of idiots. But
this is why our car insurance sucks in this state.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yeah, they want to charge a whole bunch. So, well, you do know that I did find out that, because I've been looking around for car insurance myself lately. You may have seen some posts. Apparently, a month or two ago, it was June 1st or July 1st, all liability insurances are being upped on everybody in the state. If you had the minimum liability, you're automatically getting it increased, so it gives you an increase in insurance rates too. But they're increasing them to everybody across the board, no matter what you got. But that's one of the big reasons everybody's getting increased right now. I kind of did a little study on that because mine went up significantly. I was like, what the heck's going on here?
That sucks.
So, but I will be changing companies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, nowadays they don't give 2 craps about how long you've been with anybody.
There is no loyalty with insurance companies.
It's just
0.
Nope. If you can find a better rate, bye.
Well, what's amazing is they a lot of them will give you that real cheap rate for the first year or two just to get you over, and then they jack your rates up, even though you got no claims. All right, bye-bye. I'll go find somebody else going to give me cheap rates.
Well, it's like, because then you get the commercials, right? Like, new people saved over $400 in 1 year.
Yeah.
So you get them for a year with 2 cheap rates, and then you can jack it up.
Yeah.
So it's almost, not saying it's guaranteed, but it's almost in your best interest to shop your insurance every year.
Every time it comes up renewal, just shop your insurance, yeah.
Because chances are...
It's basically what I do.
Yeah.
So, and this Red Horse is actually really good. I'm enjoying this.
It's not bad.
Yeah, experience the... mine's all scratched off. Experience that distinctive, full-bodied taste of a world-class premium beer. I don't know about
premium.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not quite sure about that, but I mean, what's interesting is that, this is from San Miguel, and they really have nothing on here other than their website to even let you know who makes this stuff.
Just very simple.
Kind of interesting. Yeah, pretty simple label on it, and
nothing fancy.
But it was something I found yesterday. I was just happened to be walking through, and I've never seen it before, so I don't know if it's new. Greenland Market. We were making sushi last night for dinner, so I'll go to Greenland and pick up some fresh fish so I can make some sushi. I don't know if you've ever been there. For anybody out there that's in Vegas, Rainbow and Spring Mountain. So in Koreatown.
Okay.
It's in Koreatown.
Yeah. I know what market you're talking
about. Best sushi, plus place I found in town to go buy, fresh fish for sushi.
Oh, nice.
They have it already cut up, ready to go. Sashimi and everything else.
Wow, so you can just buy it and lay it on so you're done.
Well, I get out my sushi knife. Yeah. I thin cut it. But, yeah, you come out, you buy the nice steaks already red up for sushi.
And then you're just good to go.
Yeah. We had, red tuna, nice red tuna last night, and white tuna.
Nice.
So that was really good. So, and you want to try something? You want to do some redneck sushi? I found out this is really good.
You said redneck sushi.
Redneck sushi. You take a cracker, whatever flavor cracker floats your boat. I use like a Triscuit or something. Take some Irish cheese on it, some wasabi, a piece of sushi on top. That's some good eating right there. That is good. Dude, hey, don't knock it till you try it, man. That is really good. If you want, you can pour a little bit of soy on it, too. But
I'd say it's good. I would not call it sushi.
That's redneck sushi, man.
No, I just call it crackers.
That's cracker and cheese with raw fish on top, man. That's redneck sushi.
Crackers are mini plates.
What's that?
They're mini plates.
That's okay.
Have you never listened to Mitch Hedberg?
No. That's like a tapa, man.
Do you know who Mitch Hedberg is?
No, I have no clue.
Really?
I don't know.
What is wrong with you?
Maybe. There's nothing wrong with me, dude.
There's a lot wrong with you. For all out there who know who Mitch Hedberg is, apparently this guy doesn't. And he gives me crap for not seeing Up in Smoke, which I will accept as totally unacceptable. But
Hola chingada, man, is that a joint? Holy cow, man, that's a quarter pounder, eh?
He loves quoting it because I've never seen it, so I have zero context for any of those quotes.
Dude, that is here. Let me see. I got something in my pocket, man. Just a second. I know I got a joint in here somewhere, man. Well, that's my dick. Just a second, man. Oh, here.
I think he was just scratching his balls, and he's trying to stick his hand in my face.
Dude, you got to see Up in Smoke, man.
I'll get around to it.
We gotta do an airing on that. Get all the guys together. We'll do Up in Smoke. Drink beer, do Up in Smoke.
Oh my lord!
So hey, we got any news stories?
There hasn't been. I mean, there's been a lot going on in the news. That's for sure. But
as I look too, I'm seeing a lot of persecution in China going on. They're talking a lot about that, but that's kind of always been there, as far as I know.
Yeah, it might be escalated. People actually talking about it. So
maybe so.
It happens. There was the Chelsea Clinton abortion thing that's being unbiblical, which, whatever.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want.
Well,
what was the one that? Oh, the church sign. So apparently a church sign.
Oh, this is awesome.
Offended a bunch of people. It was a church sign where they quoted Ephesians 5:22.
Yes.
Which is, what is it? Wives submit to your husbands.
Submit to your husbands.
Wives submit to your husbands.
No.
As one submits to the church.
No, it's just wives submit to your husbands.
That's all they put.
I
thought they put the whole verse on there.
No, it's just wives submit to your husbands.
Okay. So apparently, one of the quotes in the article was.
Of course, these are all women, by the way, doing these.
Who cares who it is? It's a quote. Women, men would say the same stupid stuff.
If it was the other way around, maybe.
No, men would still say this stupid stuff. Because if you read enough of the internet,
you look at society today, though, the way society is today, it's like, especially with like the Me Too movement or something, you can't say anything against a woman anymore.
Either way. So
whether biblical or not.
Either way. In the article, you have quotes from people who are saying the Bible is basically, I'm summarizing, the Bible is inclusive and one would not offend anyone.
Yeah.
To which I'm reading this article, thinking
you've never read your Bible.
Apparently you've never read the Bible. Because it says in several places the wife should submit to their husbands. Now, granted, there's context for that if you read the whole chapter,
yeah,
not just part of a verse, because they only posted part of a verse on a board. Like, I really wonder about people sometimes.
Oh, and because it's on a main highway, too, according to one of the quotes, this is just going to turn people off.
As Penn Jillette likes to say, the greatest way to turn someone into an atheist is tell them to read their Bible.
Uh-huh. Well, if you read it the whole thing, though, that makes a difference. You read one little piece of it right there.
Oh, no,
it can piss you off.
Penn Jillette honestly firmly believes if you read the whole Bible front to back, end to end, you would turn someone into an atheist. And I don't doubt it. There's plenty of people who would read it, and that's how they would take it, and that'd be their understanding, and hey, you will answer to God. That's it. You know?
Yeah. Because now you read it and you're still turning away.
But if that's where it leads you, that's where it leads you.
Yeah.
You know, nothing I can do. I'm not going to force you to believe something you don't want to believe. That's just dumb. I'm all about freedom. Freedom!
While we're talking about this, though, I want to do this. Let's finish out that verse.
So, the verse of the week we have... Oh, no, you're going to do the verse of the week sound?
Yeah.
No, not just the verse, but the don't you have the sound effect? No, I thought it's on the... Remember see where it says verse of the week?
Oh, I do, don't I?
Yeah.
I forgot I had that.
Right. Here we go.
Here we go. Verse of the week. Nice. There we go.
So 522 is on the sign, which is, wives submit to your husband. That's on the sign. The second half of that verse is, as you submit to the church.
Yeah.
And then so verse 25 though goes, for husbands, this means love your wives as Christ loved the church, for he gave his life for her.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of submission of the husband is a giant role to submit to his wife, or to serve his wife as Christ served the church. And anyone who's read the Gospels, the 4 books, you know Jesus served the church.
Hell, he gave his life for the church.
Right, but he constantly was serving it too and giving to it. He wasn't ruling over it.
Hey, dude, my feet are kind of dirty, man. You want to wash them for me?
In context at the time, if this was 2,000 years ago, yeah, but nowadays, you almost got a shower at home. Wear some socks and shoes.
Dude, I had to throw that in there, man. Look at that. I got that nice blister on there. It's looking sweet, man.
I ain't washing your feet. That is not happening.
We had to show that to the camera. Probably have people just turn it off, go, oh, hell no.
We're going to lose viewers if we start showing people your feet.
Yeah, anyway, my feet, they're a little damaged right now. I did 2 weeks ago. We were out for the holiday. So we didn't do a show that night for the Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, we're both out of town.
But I was doing an event where I did a challenge. You had to do 50-plus miles. And I flew to Denver for it and covered 55 miles with a backpack that weighed 30 pounds. So my feet got a little damaged getting that done. But I completed it.
Yep. Yes, you did.
You know, I'll tell you what, that's something that as you're going partway through it, you know, and you're driving to get this thing done, and your strength is waning and you have no strength left and you're in pain and stuff, you talk about saying some prayers, dude. It's like, okay, I can't fail my team because it's a team event, and you're supposed to finish as a team, so I don't want to let them down, but yet I'm like done. You know, you're fighting those demons in your head, you know. And they started about mile 10 for me, actually. And mile 10, demons started hitting me. It's like, 10 miles is pretty good, you know. You can probably quit about now.
Well, going back to the verse.
Yeah.
When you read all the passages of the dynamic of how Peter and Paul, who are the main two who wrote about the marriage, like what a marriage would look like. There's a huge responsibility of the man to act like Christ to the church and not in a ruling authority. No, we're not talking the Christ that's going to come back, like in the second coming.
Yeah.
With the iron fist, we're talking about the humble servant.
Yeah.
The serving Messiah.
Exactly.
It goes so far, like 1 Peter 3:7. That's the verse I tend to go to when it talks about husband's submission, because it goes a step further where you're supposed to honor your wife. Said. Yeah, she probably appreciates being told that all the husbands need to serve her. Excuse me. But in 1 Peter goes farther than Paul does in submission into the church. Thank you. He goes farther to the point that if you don't honor your wife, your prayers will be hindered.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the vast majority of people don't pray, so that verse means squat.
Yeah. But
if you actually are somebody who prays, like you were talking about, can you imagine if you didn't honor your wife, you could have sat there for 45 miles praying. And you might want, you know what, you may need to check yourself. You may ask the wife if you've been honoring her well, because it don't look like many prayers were answered about your feet.
Think about this. You know, not only that, and as you're praying, Christ is going, yeah. Why am I going to honor you, buddy?
Well, you don't
even honor your own wife.
Well, you know what's funny is...
I mean, think about that.
No, so there was a pastor, Driscoll, who did a massive sermon on this. He explained it Christ. Or the best. If you're a dad of a daughter, like I've got a little daughter at home, you've got a daughter. Mm-hmm. If the guy's not honoring your daughter, right? Like you could speak to this because your daughter's older than mine. Mine's 7 months. Yours is just had a baby. But if the dude wasn't honoring your daughter, and then he was coming to you asking for stuff.
Yeah, we're going to tangle.
That's not going to go very far. No. It's just, like, I just think about my daughter, and I'm like, if a guy came to me and was like, so, could you, like, help me out and do this? Not if you're not honoring my daughter, I'm not going to help you out.
Exactly.
But if you're treating her like Christ treats church, you know what? I'm probably going to be more inclined to help you out.
Yeah.
But if you're not, why the hell am I going to help you out?
You know, it's funny, you know, when I first met my wife, and I met her dad, and he's a little short guy. So when I first met him, he come up to me and he goes, you know, you better be taking care of my daughter. And I'm like going, well, I plan on it. And he goes, no, I mean, seriously, you better take care of her, because if you don't, I'm going to kick your ass. And I'm just looking at him going, seriously? You know, I mean, he's a little guy, but I don't know. He'd have put up a hell of a fight back then, because I've been a fighter, you know, most of my life. So always trained fighter. And this guy's going, I'm going, you know, maybe he might. Because you're looking at that. So I have respect for him to be able to do that.
Well, I was going to say also, there's a difference between knowing how to fight and a dad who's going to defend his daughter.
Yeah, I think so.
There's something in a guy, because I'm starting to, like, granted she's real small, but I can see myself like, I may not know how to fight.
Yeah, because you're a little more timid, but when it come to her,
if somebody's going to screw with her,
yeah, it'd be a world of shit.
Yeah, I may not know how to fight, but I do know how to kill somebody.
That's what it comes down to. I mean, seriously, it's you know.
And I've had serial killer education. You know, Law and Order, SVU, NCIS. What are all the criminal minds? We live in Vegas
too. There's a lot of holes out there in the desert too. A couple mine shafts out there. You know, nobody goes in those anymore.
Hey, I had a friend tell me years ago. He's like, "You ever want to be a serial killer?" And I was like, "Dude, what the hell are you talking about?" Like, we're on the phone right now. The NSA is listening. He's like, "No, dude." And he started listing all the criminal shows on TV. He's like, "That's how you get away with murder." And I was like, "Oh my lord."
Yeah. Put way too much thought into that.
Yeah. Like, put this. He's like, "But it's true. Think about it." It's like,
wasn't there a show on not too long ago that was actually, I never watched it, but I remember seeing it, was How to Get Away with Murder. I think it was an actual series or a show
called How to, probably.
Yeah, it was like How to Get Away with Murder, and that's basically what they would do, is try to set things up. And from the previews, from what I saw, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me. But they try to set it up to where people are committing these murders, and they're trying to solve it, but they've gone into so much detail. It's like you can't. I guess you can't. You know, some of this stuff's really planned out. You know, dude, that was good. Those went down easy, didn't they?
It did. You want to rate these real quick?
Yeah, let's do that.
So
wait a minute. We gotta do the applause as it comes close. We got the applause sound effect.
Cool. So, Red Horse Beer, imported by Skaggs in Irvine, California.
Yep.
San Miguel Beer International.
So it's done by San Miguel, but I wonder if it's like a smaller one. Maybe they bought, maybe a brewery they bought down there or something. Because some of the big breweries are buying smaller ones.
Right, that's like the big thing.
That's the big thing. And Mexico now, for those of you that don't know, are starting. We've had the small brewery craze. Going on.
Yeah,
the
is that going
microbreweries.
on in Mexico?
It's starting to happen out there, not to the extent of the United States. Not really. We don't have man buns down there going and raiding beers down there. Mexicans don't put up with that kind of crap.
Nope.
So no, they'll just go bury you out in the desert somewhere. Use you as crab bait. But at they do have some microbreweries down there now, and I'm sure why not? They're going to buy up the competition if they're selling something. I mean, that's what the big breweries do.
Yep. All right, so red beer. Initial was really good. The more I drank it, it didn't get worse, but it just kind of was like
just bland to you, maybe.
Yeah. Still very flavorful.
Yeah.
Like absolutely a lot of flavor.
But this is a beer you can sit and drink a few of these. Although
very smooth.
At 8%, you may not want to drink too many of them.
Right. So, it wasn't terrible.
No. So 2 thumbs up. Out of 2 thumbs up.
I'll do 1.5.
1.5. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
1.5. If I can go like 1.6 or 2/3, I would.
But we do quarters.
But I know we do. But I'd go 1.5 too.
1.5.
1.5. So
that's a 3.
That's a 3. That's actually one of our higher ones.
Yep.
It really is. So for you guys out there that want to try it, that is one of our higher ones. Red Horse. I don't know how readily available it is. Like I said, I've never seen it before. I just happened to run across it at the grocery store there, and that's kind of an obscure kind of grocery store. It's not your big ones.
Where's this brewed?
It's Ponderay, Idaho. Yeah.
You are the hoe.
Oh! Okay. You know what's funny about this? Okay.
Sorry, I've been giving him crap all week since he's been in Idaho.
You know what I think's funny about this?
Because he is.
Ponderay, the way they spell this here, right? Ponderay. Ponderay. Easy to pronounce, right? Now, if you compare Idaho to Washington, you go right across the border there. It's also Ponderay. But if you look at the spelling of it, it does not look like Ponderay one iota. It's the French way. The rednecks over in Idaho decided to make it from not the French way, but let's do it to where we can actually pronounce the damn thing. And people up there, I only say this too because if you're from that area, they make fun of them over there too for changing the spelling of it because they couldn't figure out what it really said, so they decided to actually make it to where they can remember. That's what they say up there anyway.
So this is brewed and canned by Laughing Dog Brewing Company.
Yep.
Huckleberry Cream Ale. Ale fermented with huckleberries. Out of Ponderay, Idaho. Because Jeff is the hoe.
Now, for those of you that have been up into the area, the northwest area, huckleberry is real popular up there. Huckleberry pies, huckleberry licorice, huckleberry everything basically. It's actually pretty good up there. So.
Did you run into Huck Finn?
Never saw Huck Finn. I did see Sasquatch though.
Ooh, you actually saw Sasquatch.
Yeah, my picture was really blurry though, so I couldn't really prove anything.
You got our beer pour?
Oh yeah, let's do the beer pour again.
And then we'll
wait a minute. Let's crack it while the beer pour is going.
Ready?
Yeah, here we go. That's the sound of beauty right there.
You gotta let the sound of the beer finish. You just interject on our sound effects.
No, that's okay. That's the sound.
No, the whole point of letting the sound effect is so that we don't interject and talk over it.
Did I talk before it was done?
You did.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
You gotta pay attention.
I just enjoyed this sound so much. Really.
Amateur.
This sound. Now try the beer, dude.
Cheers.
You know what? I cheated. I had one of these up there too, obviously, because I was up there.
Oh.
It's not bad.
It's really not.
It's not. Especially your first initial on it is very. It's a cream beer, cream ale.
Yeah.
So you get that cream taste, And you don't really hit the huckleberry until the aftertaste of it. So it's not a strong, like, fruit beer. Like,
you know what this reminds me of is the boysenberry syrup from Knott's Berry Farm. That's
I never thought of it. It's flavor. Kind of, it is kind of like a boysenberry.
Like those berries out of Knott's.
Yeah.
Like, because they have that distinct flavor.
Which is a little more bitter tasting and everything else. It's not a sweet berry. It's a little bitter.
The sad part, like, not the sad part, the funny part about this, now I just want some huckleberries. Like, huckleberries are a real berry, right?
Yes, they are. They are.
I kind of just want a bowl of, like, huckleberries to try now.
Here's the interesting thing about huckleberries. They grow wild all over the place. To tell you how stupid people have gotten up in the area up there, as you walk down a trail, you'll see huckleberries. You can't pick them and eat them. It's against the law.
Are they poisonous, or do they need to be
No, you have to leave them for the bears, because the bears like them too. So they passed a law that says people cannot go pick wild huckleberries because you have to leave those for the bears. This is how stupid things have gotten.
If you're one of these people and you're watching these shows, please talk to me.
Tell me what you were thinking.
I need to understand this. It's about as bright of an idea as we're going to dig a tunnel under the road for the turtles to go under.
Yeah.
Because a turtle totally understands the sign to point them under the highway.
Oh, hey, better yet, how about all the bridges they built driving down through Arizona? The first time I saw those bridges being built over the highway, right? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Those bridges over the highway, they build these random bridges with roads, just a bridge, and it looks like it's like a big bridge, like a car. They're going to build a road across it, right? Oh, no. It's a bridge for wildlife to cross over. Now, what I'm wondering is who passed the memos out to the wildlife to let them know that the bridge was being built for them?
Listen, at least with those, they're fenced in, so it funnels the wildlife over the highway.
But they still jump on the highway, too.
They do.
Yeah.
But at least there's fencing to funnel the animals over the bypasses. The turtle tunnels have nothing.
Yeah.
So the turtle doesn't get funneled by a fence into a tunnel. It just goes right over the highway.
Uh-huh. Oh, here's something. So I'm driving through Death Valley. And this was a couple years ago. And there's trenches alongside the highway, too, to keep the turtles from crossing the highway. So they build these trenches, because the tortoise is an endangered species. Yeah. So they build there's trenches. Well, a tortoise comes up to a trench and it falls in, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make it across the highway. It's not going to get hit, but it falls into a trench where it'll die there.
Because it flips over.
This is stupid. It's whoever come up with this idea, you got to... We'll let you come on the show and try to explain it, because this is stupid. Because let me finish my story here. So I'm driving along, and I see 3-4 cars stopped on the side of the highway. And everybody was staring down inside one of these trenches as I'm driving by. And I'm going, I wonder what's going on there. So I pulled over just to see, because I'm curious, I want to see what's going on. And I pull over there and I look. I walk over, and there's a tortoise upside down inside one of the trenches. And these people from California there are all staring at this tortoise upside down in the trench. And it can't flip itself back over because it's got walls in the trench, right? So I'm like, why is nobody... I literally said this out loud. Why is nobody helping this tortoise out? And one guy steps up and says, because it's against the law, we can't touch the tortoise. We've already called for help. I'm like, are you people really that stupid? I mean, really, seriously, are you that stupid? This thing could be dead by the time somebody comes along. And how do you think they're going to get him out of there? They're going to pick him up and help him out, right? And so I reached down and I picked the tortoise up and turned him over and pointed him away from the road, and off he went. Slowly as a tortoise goes, but sort of walking off. And the same guy turned around and looked at me and he says, that's against the law. You can go to jail for that. And I'm like, That'll be really funny when I go in front of the judge and explain why I'm there. Judge, I was saving an endangered species life. It was stuck in a trench, and some dumbass called the police on me.
Well, 5 people were staring at it.
Yeah. I mean, this is how stupid people have become. It's unbelievable. You can't eat wild huckleberries because it's bear food, because the bears like them. You know, because they can't find anything else in the wild to eat, apparently, but huckleberries.
Okay. I don't. There's stories that Jeff tells me all the time, but this is probably one of my favorite ones. Since we're ranting about this, you might as well share about why you can't take why you have to take bags up the Mount Whitney hike.
Oh my God! Oh. Okay, you want to hear the story? All right. Okay.
Since we're on the topic, you might as well just share this one, because this is the dumbest. You've told me some dumb things.
Yeah, but this California again. This is California. Okay, so I go to Whitney, and I get in line. We get a permit. You have to have a permit. They only allow so many people up Whitney, which I kind of understand that just because there's so many people on the mountain.
Right.
So as I'm sitting there waiting, first thing she asked me when I'm getting my permit, do you have bear boxes with you? And I'm like, a bear box? Why don't they have bear boxes up? What am I going to carry a bear box for? She goes, well, you put your food in there so the bears can't get it. And I'm like, well, no. I've taken survival training and stuff, 10 feet up, 10 feet out. That's what we always thought. I have ropes. All my food, everything will be tied up in my bag away from a branch, 10 feet up, 10 feet out, so it can't climb up and get it. You know, and she's like, no, we don't do that anymore. You have to put it in this plastic container. I'm all, so great. So I put my food in a plastic container that the bears, they're not dumb animals. Bears are pretty smart. So it's going to know what this is and just walk off with my food now. Oh, that's brilliant. So then she goes, well, do you have bags to carry your feces out? And I'm like, do I have a what? She goes, do you have bags? You have to carry your feces out. And I'm like, no, I have a shovel. Dig a hole. Nowhere near water. I know that. Way out somewhere. Dig a hole. Bury it all. It deteriorates in, a few days underground. It's gone. She goes, no. You have to shit in a bag and carry it with you down. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, that's a great idea. And I said, have you passed those out to the animals, too, that are up there, too? The bears and stuff, they're going to take my food and eat it. You know, because I'm sure they're shitting up there in the ground, too. You might want to let them know and pass the memo out that they should be carrying that down the mountain. You know, and she just looked at me like with this bizarre look, like, no, you have to carry it down. It's against the law to shit on the ground. I'm like, you people are whacked. You are whack jobs is what you are.
What was the one where you had to carry your dog shit out?
No. It was okay. National parks have passed a law now that you can't. Dogs are not allowed in national parks now on trail systems. In the parks, they are. So and I had my dog with me, and this was there in Nevada actually. So I was going to take my dog up a trail, and they said, no, you can't do that. I'm like, why? Because the dog, will shit on the ground. I'm like, well, don't the bears and the wolves and everything else shit on the ground? I mean, dog's an animal. She goes, yeah, but we don't want the dog shitting on the ground. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with people? This is part of our national park system now. You cannot take a dog on a trail in a national park because the dog shits on the ground. This is the stupidest crap I've ever heard. I mean, you can't eat wild huckleberries. Apparently, you can't pick a turtle up that's dying.
Ready?
What?
Ready? Freedom.
What freedom?
Freedom.
Freedom for what?
Freedom.
There is no freedom, dude.
Land of the free.
Yeah, bullshit.
Freedom.
Bullshit!
Freedom.
Yeah. It's stupidity, dude. Where do people come up with this stuff? So, anyway, going back on huckleberries, they're pretty damn good.
I was going to say, I love the flavor of an actual huckleberry that's coming through that beer.
Now, I'm telling you, if I'm walking down a trail, some ranger better be following me because I'm going to be eating some frickin' huckleberries. I'm telling you what. In fact, here, I'll feed them to the bears while I'm eating them. This is stupid shit.
I don't know. The land of the free and home of the brave.
And stupid. Apparently, they're the ones writing the laws. Dumbass people.
I don't know.
So, my future son-in-law, we had a conversation about kind of environmental things like this stupid shit here up there. We had, obviously, as we know now, we have fires burning all over the place. And it seems history just repeats itself in these dumbasses that write the laws. I remember in California, if you lived there when this happened, when Big Bear was burning down. And
which time?
This was probably in 05.
No, you don't. I'm just.
This was
California. For those who don't know about Southern California, there's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
That the only thing that doesn't burn is what burned the previous seasons, and then as the brush grows back, those will burn in cycle.
Well,
anyway, going back to Big Bear.
Here's the thing. Remember the bark beetle?
Yes.
This was after the bark beetle, and we had dead trees everywhere. Because my mom actually lived up there at the time. And
I remember this one because it closed down. It got so close to Big Bear where they thought they'd lose.
It burned half that mountain down, and it did burn into some of the smaller villages. It did burn into those, but there's a bark beetle that was attacking the trees because the environmental group wouldn't allow them to remove trees, remove some of the dead trees, remove some of this, and in the forest, there's not supposed to be that many trees. There's only enough water to go around for a certain amount of trees. Right. Well, when you have the bark beetle, which has always been around, it's nothing new, and you have trees that don't have enough water, they can't defend themselves. So the bark beetle starts to go in and kill these trees off. God doing its magic to get rid of trees. I mean, God just does this. It's
part of nature.
If man intercepts and does something stupid, God says, oh, no, I'll take care of it, and we're going to go the way it's supposed to go.
Right.
So he does this, right? And a bunch of trees die where it's supposed to be. So you have healthy trees that can get the water. Well, now fire comes through. Again, fire is a normal thing that happens in a forest to get rid of dead shrubs, dead trees, everything else. Everybody seems shocked, but normally a fire doesn't get out of control as much as it does now, because of mankind interfering and allowing so much vegetation, so many dead trees that would have normally been abolished a while back, that taken care of. So now we have these huge monster fires. Well, it's interesting. My son-in-law up there is a conservationist, not an environmentalist, conservationist. Because when he first told me what he did, I'm like, oh yeah, you're one of them tree hugger people, right? Oh no, he's all for going in there and getting rid of that crap. And what's interesting, I was up there in July for 4th of July and before the baby was born. And by the way, I just had a little baby. I talked about this. I didn't, but my daughter did.
Grandpa.
But anyway, when I was up there last week, I saw him. Great, beautiful little son, But anyway, we were talking, just in July, we were sitting there talking about how I made a comment to him. I says, Mother Nature will take care of all this. God will come in and destroy all this. Fire is going to come in and just burn all these trees up. And he's like, yeah, it's probably inevitable. Here we are, month and a half later, boom, fire's burning half the area down. And what was crazy is when it started, they just had the baby. And the smoke was so severe where they live that they had to leave because, it's detrimental to a newborn. So they actually had to leave, and they went to my mom's house over across on the coast side. Oh. So just to keep the air cleaner over there. But these don't eat huckleberries, don't take trees out, don't do all this stuff. Come on, have some brains, people.
I've heard I heard this from a lady who I used to work with. Her husband was a conservationist for the Forest Service. He'd worked in a couple different states, and one of the things that he would always complain about, and I heard this from some people in California, and I'm not just picking on California because a lot of it's just federal law. Mm-hmm. They're not allowed to clear brush.
No, they're not.
They are in very areas. And yet, every single one of these conservationist people working are like, if you let us go in and clear the brush once a year, your forest fires won't be this bad, and the firemen could actually put it out.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the obviously these are complex situations, so it's not just a one size. But you're going to have fires. Fires are natural. It's a natural occurrence. It's going to happen, whether it's man-made or by nature. Yeah. You're going to have wildfires.
Yeah, a lot of them are lightning strikes.
Right. So it could be anything. But if you clear the brush out, like if man were to go in and clear the brush out, the fire can't spread as fast because it doesn't have anything to catch.
Well, it doesn't build the heat like it does too because it doesn't have all that small kindling.
Mm-hmm. Right. It has to go actually from a giant log, which is a tree, to another giant log, which is a tree.
A green one to a green one.
Right. And if anyone who's ever built a fire camping knows, the more alive the tree is and the bigger the tree is,
the harder
it is to burn.
That's right.
You want dry and thin. And if it's dry and thin, it'll catch.
And that's where the bark beetle dried him out, killed him.
But that's boom. But that's also brush. The majority of brush that is on the ground is dead and dry and thin. So it just catches real quick and spreads.
I remember camping years ago at 10 Mile Creek in the Sequoias, California, Sequoias area. And the ranger came by and was talking about this exact subject because we were getting a fire going, and I was over there picking some dry brush up to help get our fire going right there. And I walked over into the forest, was picking some up. And he came over and he says, you're not supposed to do that. And I'm like going, not supposed to do what? He goes, you can't collect anything on the ground. And he goes, but I'm going to turn my head while you do that. And he said that, and I'm like going, well, thank you, sir, And he goes, no, really, seriously, this shit needs to be cleaned up. He goes, we're all looking at this whole area. He was looking at it. He goes, this is a tinderbox. He goes, so please try to keep the fire under control because it really is a tinderbox.
Right.
Because we cannot go pick this stuff up. And if one of those things catch over there, it's done, man. That fire is going out of control. And I can see where it would be,
Well, it makes sense, like, when I learned about a lot of that stuff, because I remember living in Southern California, how many fires I heard started by a cigarette butt.
Yeah.
And I was always like...
Think about a cigarette butt starting.
I used to smoke a lot, so I know what it takes for a cigarette butt to start something else on fire. That's difficult. But the older you get, the more you learn. You throw a cigarette butt, that's a burning flame that's going to burn for a little bit. You throw that into some dry brush that's been there for a while, that's real dry, it's going to catch it. And the second it catches it...
I saw an interesting billboard driving back through Utah when I was coming through. And it was interesting because there was a fire burning up in the mountains just below Salt Lake near Provo.
Okay.
There was a fire burning up in the hills right there. And you can see it's mostly desert kind of environment there. So it wasn't this huge monster fire out of control. It was big.
Right.
But you can tell that it's going to burn itself out. It's desert. You ever try to burn a desert bush? They don't burn real easy. You've seen me try to burn those. I've thrown propane on them, gas. They don't burn. But anyway, this thing's sitting there going. And I went by a billboard that I'd never seen before. I thought it was interesting. When you're towing, you always have that safety chain that from between the trailer and the vehicle. Well, a lot of people, we've all seen this, where they're driving that safety chain's hitting the ground.
Sparking.
And you got sparks flying. And that's exactly what this billboard was about, was make sure your chain is off the ground so it doesn't ignite a fire. That's an interesting billboard. Imagine a chain driving at 70 miles an hour down the street, that little spark. How much dry brush does it take on the side of the road
to catch fire?
To ignite that?
Yeah, it wouldn't take much.
I mean, that is insane that spark in the highway that's 10 feet over from the brush is even going to ignite it. But it must have happened at one point in time, or they wouldn't put it there.
Well, Utah is also notorious for being, like, foresight. And actually,
that's true.
Like, their family value, like, you see those U.S. billboards, pass it on and all these different things. Utah has their own things in there that really push family.
Yeah.
And fatherhood and motherhood and all the various things. Like, Utah, we can...
Get you on camera a little bit more.
For all the complaints that people can make about Utah and the Mormons that are there, it's a damn well-run state.
Oh, it is.
It's a very well-run
a lot of money there. That's
they do, and they spend. It's not that there's a lot of money. They're wise about what they spend their money on.
I would agree.
Like they spend their money very wisely. Like I've driven a couple seasons ago. We went all through Utah to a couple different mountains for roads that get snowed on every season.
Oh, they're in great shape, aren't they?
Oh my Lord!
Yeah, like great shape. All the roads.
There wasn't a single road we got on that I was like, this needs to get repaired. It was like, these roads.
Unlike California, where you drive into it, it's like border.
But it's funny.
Because you got no money in California. Your guys are always broke.
In the early 2000s, the first time I went to Texas, not the first time I went to Texas when I was a kid, but first time as like an adult when I went to Texas. The first thing we noticed, me and my buddy were driving through, and we're on the federal highway, so we're taking the 10 in from California.
Yeah.
And we
so you're way south Texas then too.
Well, we came in through El Paso and then went to Dallas.
That's yeah.
So, excuse me, but we're on the 10, and it's like, I mean, it's in good shape. Mm-hmm. But then we got on a Dallas highway, and we
was it bad shape in Dallas? Really?
No. So here's the fun thing. Like in California, right? So let's go to like the 55, right? Like 55 freeway or the 91. So the 55 and 91 are California state highways, right? And they're terrible. But if you get on the 5, they're actually kind of nice, right? Mm-hmm. Like the interstate's
federal funding.
So the federal funding's really nice, and the state funding's crap.
Yeah.
In Texas, it's reverse. You get on a state highway, and it's beautiful. Now, again, personal observation, this is what I experienced. So things could have changed since the early 2000s. I highly doubt that. But in the early 2000s, when we were there, every state highway we got on was beautiful.
And the Fed ones were just trash.
And then you get on the interstate, and you're just like, what the hell?
Uh-huh.
Because coming from California, the interstates are the bloodlines. Like, the interstates are the gold standard, and the state highways are garbage. And then you go to Texas, and it's like, Texas is kind of like, screw your federal funding. We can do this better than you.
Well, it's interesting. We talk about highways like that, and I made that comment when you cross over. Think of the drive to Tacoma. You and I both love going out to Tacoma. Right?
Oh, when you hit California.
You know it exactly. When you hit that border.
Oh, yeah.
It's like your whole car starts to rattle and shake.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that road
it's bad.
is chewed
It's so bad.
Compared to Nevada side, where it's not the best in Nevada, because, it's a highway that's not driven much. So they're not putting a lot of money into it. But the difference still is
But you can tell they put money into it, though.
They do put
versus
some,
California.
Yeah. California don't even care. They probably built that highway back in the 60s and haven't touched it since. It's like it melted part of it. It's just like driving on gravel almost. It's just bad.
Funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
So.
You hear it in your tires when you hit that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. Like you're going, so we'll drive out there late at night.
Yeah.
So you don't know where the border is because there's no sign out there. You're just driving.
Yeah.
But it was funny. Somebody, I was talking to somebody who was coming out, and they're like, "Well, how do I know?" Because I'm like, "You lose cell service the second you get the border."
A little bit after, but yeah,
but right around the border is where we're going to lose cell service. So they're like, "Well, how do you know?" I'm like, I've gone out there enough. I know cell service loses once you hit California. You have it up through Nevada, and then you start to lose it. And they're like, "Well, how will I know?" I'm like, "Is there a sign?" I'm like, "There's no sign." They're like, "How will I know?" I'm like, "The road
You'll
changes."
Know. Yeah, you'll know.
And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "The road changes." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You get in California and the road goes to crap, your car will start rattling." And they're just like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, just drive.
Just drive it.
Just drive it. And the second they got out there, I was like, so I did the service. They're like, "You weren't kidding." And I was like, "I told you."
It's funny.
Like, I wasn't joking.
Okay, a guy I graduated high school with. I remember my 20-year reunion, and great guy. I always called him like too tall. He was like 5 foot tall. So his nickname in high school was Too Tall. One of my good buddies from honors, all my honors classes I took, this dude was like straight A student, valedictorian kind of friend. Good friend of mine. He ended up getting a job. He was vice president of Caltrans.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, California Transportation, vice president. Yeah. And I remember at the 20-year reunion sitting there talking to him. And he was telling me, of course, I had to tell him a joke about Caltrans, but, which he found actually hilarious. But anyway, he was sitting there talking about it. He goes, "Yeah, I'm thinking about quitting my job. I just can't take it anymore." And I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because nobody does a damn thing, and everybody gets paid way too much money." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, let's say we're going to do a highway and put it out there. We put a bid out for people to do this, right? At least that's what they're supposed. That's what he was pushing for, the bids." He goes, "Prior to that," he goes, "it's always been Caltrans workers, state employees doing Caltrans. This was a few years ago, state employees." He goes, "They don't do shit." He goes, You basically have like 5 supervisors and 1 worker, because the way the system levels up after a certain period of time, they automatically get promoted. Well, a supervisor doesn't really have to work. Kind of like the school system. It's just kind of a joke. People get promoted for no damn reason when they shouldn't be. That's just the way that they do it there. Well, he was trying to, as a bid system, toward get private organizations in there to try to do it, which is what they've kind of done.
Private contractors.
Private contractors. The problem is most of the private contractors, it's so much nepotism that it still isn't, it hasn't solved anything. And that's one of the things he was talking about too. So he was like, I'm done. I'm just so done with the complaints, getting, the stuff he has to fend off, that highways aren't doing anything, the money being spent and all this as a VP, he's having to deal with all this stuff when it's so much out of his control because the way the laws are written, that they have to hire things. He goes, I can't do anything about it, and yet nothing's getting done. So he goes, the whole system needs to be revamped. But welcome to California. Welcome to a lot of state government systems. It's not just California. It's a lot of them out there.
Well, I was going to say, so like here in Nevada, right, we got Project Neon going on right now. And it's funny, a lot of people in Nevada are complaining about it. However, it's the first project that went out to open bid by the state, not by the county.
By the state,
by the state. It was an Arizona contractor that got it.
That's surprising. I'm surprised it wasn't a Nevada paving or something.
Las Vegas paving?
Yeah.
No, it went,
I'm really surprised it wasn't Las Vegas because they get all of them.
But those are county projects.
Okay.
This was a state project.
So it wasn't Sisolak's brother-in-law?
No. It was Sandoval.
It was his cousin. Oh, Sandoval. Okay, there you go. See? There you go.
They bid it out to this company in Arizona. The funny thing is they put an incentive for all the workers. For every, there's a bonus for, if you finish a day, month. There's this tiered bonus structure for as soon as... I think they're about 6 months ahead of schedule now on this project.
I thought I've seen that, yeah.
So
there's a huge bonus in for them.
Oh, these workers... So, somebody I know, they've got a couple buddies that are working on the project.
Okay.
And the entire crew... It's funny because... He's one of those guys that they do a lot of state jobs, so it's about milking it. Well, apparently the bonus structure is so good that he was telling my buddy, dude, we get on the job, and every single person knock it off, get to work, knock it off, get to work, knock it off, get to work, all of them.
Like a normal private industry would do versus government.
But this is uber over the top because everybody on the job site.
Everybody gets the bonus? Everybody. Is it from top down?
Oh, no. All the hourly workers
get the bonus. Nice. Okay.
So the incentive is for them.
Because that project, man, that needs to get done because it's a pain in the ass. That traffic there.
But think about it. They're already 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
At this point, and they got about a year left. They're going to finish that thing almost 9. One article I read said they potentially could finish almost 9 months ahead of schedule if they keep working at the pace they're working. And it's because these workers have this massive bonus incentive. Now, granted, that's 9 months they're not going to be working the normal hourly, but apparently the bonus is enough.
They could end up with another job after that. I mean, they're all union, so they're probably going to they'll move on to the next job with a huge bonus on top of it.
There'll be more projects because the sooner they finish that, they'll be able to get the next. They get the rest of the projects done. So there's this massive bonus, but they're working their ass off. But it's funny hearing the stories because it's now you have guys policing themselves in the project, so that you don't need supervisors to be I'm going to take another cigarette break. No, you're not.
Yeah,
we're going to get this thing done.
For those of you, explain Project Neon.
Project Neon. For those of you who haven't been out to Vegas, if you come out here, if you head toward downtown, so it's on the north end of the Strip.
We call it the Spaghetti Bowl over there.
Yeah, Spaghetti Bowl is where it is. So Project Neon is the name of the project. It's being done in 3 phases. They're basically they're expanding the highway to accumulate for growth over the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. So it's actually a fourth, well thought out project where we need to expand a highway not for capacity today, but capacity for 10 years.
Like California,
where you're just constantly playing behind the ball. Yeah. Here in Nevada, they actually wanted to get ahead of the curve, so they wanted to build out. So now, granted, with 2-3 year build out, you're looking at 7-year projection instead of 10-year projection. And obviously, we've had so many more people coming from California into Nevada,
turning it into California,
or whatever. But in terms of traffic,
go back home.
In terms of traffic of the people, that 7-year projection, that 10-year projection, which is 7 by the time it's done, probably closer to 5. Mm-hmm. But either way, I was at least you thought ahead. Yeah. You planned for future to really move a lot more cars. It's a beautiful plan. I'm starting to see kind of the lanes.
Starting to see some of it come together.
Right, you're starting to kind of see what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen how all the lanes.
Yeah, for a while there, you'd go through there and it's what the hell was somebody thinking?
Right.
You know, as you
You're
drive
just
through
like-
some of this stuff.
You're all nuts.
Yeah, as you're doing this weave thing. Okay, I used to get on the freeway just like this.
Yeah.
Now I go down here and up here and over here and over here, and it's like, wait a minute, you built this damn thing for me to do all these curves. I hope this isn't permanent.
Right.
You know?
But some of the stuff you're looking at, you're like, this is actually...
Yeah.
Like, conceptually, you're starting to see stuff that you're kind of like, well, that's actually kind of smart. Like, you keep these people here, and you keep these people here, and you're putting the bypass lanes over, and... so if you come to Vegas, in that whole area is a nightmare right now. It's a giant cluster.
Yeah, I'd stay away from it. Anybody coming to visit, you don't want to stay there.
If you're staying on the Strip and you're going to go downtown, just take Las Vegas Boulevard or Paradise. Take one of the side streets down there. Don't bother with the freeway because it's just terrible. Or take the bus.
I was just about to say that little tip. If you're staying on the Strip, when you guys come here to visit, in fact, come here all you want. Spend your money here. We need it.
Yeah.
But anyway, when you come here to visit, a little tip, because my wife and I do this. We do staycations. I mean, we live in Vegas. Come on, it's a vacation destination.
Side note.
So we do.
You could stay at a Caesar suite, like one of the really really nice suites.
Yeah.
For less money than to stay at a regular room at the Hard Rock in San Diego in the Gaslamp.
Absolutely. Yeah, that place is expensive. I've looked at that. I've been to Gaslamp. We love going to Gaslamp.
No, I looked at the
price of those. Whoa!
It was like, so one weekend
you can stay at the Hard Rock here and get a nice suite in the HRH Tower for a whole lot less.
So I looked up the Hard Rock in Gaslamp for a weekend stay. It was like $475 a night.
Yeah.
To stay there. The same weekend here, I could have got one of the Caesar suites, like one of the 2-bedroom suites at Caesar's in like that middle really nice tower with the balcony, or for about $50 more, so it was like $525. I could have got one of the real world suites at the Hard Rock in Vegas, and I was sitting there thinking, because I ended up not.
And that's just a room in San Diego.
I think
that'd be just a room,
right? That was the basic room in Gaslamp.
Yeah,
I think I ended up going camping that weekend. And then a couple of friends were like, so did you ever go to California to stay at the beach? I was like, no. And I told them about that, and they're like, are you kidding me? I was like, this is why people come to Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
This is why.
We do staycations all the time. And I love doing it because we'll go down there, and I think the last place we stayed was not Venetian. What's the one with the Eiffel Tower?
Oh, Paris.
Paris. We stayed at Paris. Yeah. And
you just take the Deuce.
We took the Deuce. We stayed at Paris. We got a room for, I don't know, like $50 a night or something. I mean, it's just dirt cheap for the weekend, like $50 a night. But what we'll do is we'll get a Uber's great. If you want to Uber, you got one way. I'm not putting Uber down because it's a great way to get around town too. Because we Ubered also.
Oh yeah.
But when you're just going to stay on the Strip, which is what most visitors do, you're going to stay on the Strip. You're going to go up and back, maybe the Strip to Fremont or something. Right. Take the Deuce. The Deuce is the bus system here.
Is it $7 for all day?
It's like $7 or $8 for a 24-hour pass. Right. You get on there. There's so many stops. You get on. So by the time you compare that to an Uber waiting for a taxi, your waiting time is your stop time basically on the bus because they go pretty quick. You will be up there in no time at all to Fremont Street. Party, have a great time. Jump on the Deuce, drive straight back, drops you off right by your hotel.
Yep.
Might not be as close as an Uber or a taxi, so you're at the street. Walk to your room. It's so much cheaper, so easy because you can on-off the thing the whole time.
Right.
You know?
And if you want a good recommendation, you go to Casino Royale, where the White Castle is. They have... I think it's $1.50 beers now. It used to be dollar beers.
Something like that, yeah. Still $1.50 for a beer.
Yeah, it used to be $1, but I think it went up to like $1.25 or $1.50. But the White Castle's right there. So I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, you get your White Castle burgers and then go pay less than $2 for a beer.
Great place too is right outside. It used to be Bill's. Now it's
the Cromwell.
The Cromwell.
Correct. Right behind the Cromwell where the Italian Batistas.
No, what I was going to get on the Strip itself, between Cromwell and Flamingo, next door, there's a little bar on the walkway right there. Great place to sit outside. Beers are way better price than going inside a casino. You're paying $8, $9 a beer. You might pay $4. So not as cheap as Royale, but it's still $4 on the Strip. Isn't bad for a beer.
Well, 'cause I was gonna say,
you sit outside and people watch. It's great. We sit out there all the time.
So I was going to say, right behind Cromwell,
Okay.
So if you
Batistas and that little
Batista, there's that little bar right
that little
there,
casino bar
and
thing
they
right
do
there. Yeah.
$2 Coronas.
I think they do
$2
dollar beers too, like Bud Lights and stuff. Also,
No,
I think
it's all $2.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
I thought they did
$2.
dollars.
It's like $2-3. But you go back there, you can get $2-3 Coronas, Bud Light, Bud.
Of course,
it's all your domestic.
Of course,
stuff,
Batistas includes all you can drink wine with dinner.
If you go to dinner.
Yeah, if you go to dinner there, and their dinner's not bad. I mean, it's not the greatest Italian food, but
the
it's
wife
not
just
bad.
told me the wine's really good. It's not amazing.
No, the wine's not good.
Really?
It's good after about 4 or 5 glasses.
Right, but it's all you can drink, so you just...
Well, that's yeah. They just keep bringing it to you,
right.
too.
That's why it's good.
Yeah. Well, for that reason, yeah. And that's why you get a taxi or an Uber or something like that.
Take the deuce.
Take the deuce. There's so many great places here on Vegas.
And there's some really good deals. There are some really good deals. So if you come out for a hockey game or if you come out for a fight, like we just had the Canelo Triple G second fight. There'll be a third one now.
If you get also, all the casinos are charging for parking now. Pretty much all of them. Planet Hollywood does not. If you go in the back, it's still free.
They are in the process. Eventually, they will.
Okay, but they're still free right now. Caesars properties, if you have a Caesars credit card, you do not have to charge a damn thing on it. Just get a card. MGM offers the same thing.
Yep. If you have their credit card, you can park.
If you have their credit card, it's all free parking.
Yep.
So for you locals out there listening too, and you're tired of paying for parking,
you can do that.
That's what I've done. I just don't charge anything on them. I get the cards. Oh, here's the amazing thing. So when I got mine when we were staying at the Eiffel Tower place there. Paris. So I got it when we were staying there. And I went up there and I was getting my Players Club card. And I said, hey, how's parking work? I hear you offer free parking somehow, And she goes, yeah, you just have to get one of our credit cards. I'm like, okay, so what do I need to fill out? In fact, I don't even want a limit. Just give me like a $10 limit. I just want the card. I just want to park. She's like, yeah. She goes, I can approve you right now. She goes, just a second. She didn't even ask for my social security number, which absolutely amazed me. They must have it through my name or something, right? She just comes back at the players booth and goes, yeah, you're approved. I'm like, okay, so what's next then? They didn't have a machine there at Paris to print. I had to go next door to the next casino over, which was no big deal. I just walked over there. And they printed off the credit card right there at the Players Club booth and handed it to me. Said, there you go. I'm like, so how does this work? She goes, when you go to the exit at parking, you can just swipe that instead, and the gate will open. I'm like, damn, this is awesome.
Well, I will say this too. Caesars and MGM offers free parking to all military and veterans as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're a military vet, you got to go to the Players Club. They'll upgrade.
And they should.
They upgrade the Players Club to like the platinum status or whatever it is. That's how they do it. They give you the automatic. So if you are a military or a veteran, I would highly recommend going to MGM or Caesars just to get the upgrade of the card. Because of the discounts you get with the card.
Discounts, free parking, all that.
Food, you get the free parking, you get discount on shows. And not just like the cheap shows, but the actual good shows. Like you actually get some really good perks.
Giving some good tips tonight for Vegas for people. We should do that a little more often too. Like throw some tips out there.
Like local ideas.
Yeah, local ideas, local tips, places to go, things to see.
Right.
You know, because there's a lot to do here. There's a lot of.
There really is.
And a lot of good bars here. We've got one of the best martini bars, I think, in the world.
Well, we have one of the top cocktail bars in the country.
One of the top ones.
That's not on the strip, though. You got to go off strip. But we'll save that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll save that one for.
There's the one though.
Because they don't do beer. It's all hard liquor.
There's the one on Fremont Street. I'm telling you, they have a drink there that. And the guy, I'll give you the bartender's name later in another show. I have to remember to do that. He's got a drink that I ordered 5 or 6 years ago. It's got to be one of the most complex martinis I've ever had in my life. And the flavor of it changes flavor as you drink it. So it starts to change in your palate. It's called a caveman. And to sit and watch him make it, he's putting drops of stuff in it. Just a drop of this, a drop of this, a drop. And it takes a while for him to make it. The guy still remembers, it was a specialty drink like 5, 6 years ago. Like I said, it's not on their menu. But he knows how to make it. And I get one every time I go there.
Well, let's rate this sucker.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Huckleberry Cream Ale. 4% by volume.
Okay, yeah.
So
it's a little lower.
Yeah.
It's got this cool dog on it that's kind of laughing. You can maybe kind of see it on the camera.
That's for Laughing Dog Brewing.
Yep.
So, fletchingly good beer. That's creative.
The Huckleberry is native to the Pacific Northwest, and it's prized for its sweetness and texture.
Ooh.
So, Huckleberries are good.
Yeah. So I'm going to go...
you know what Huckleberry goes good with?
Huh.
Chocolate.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, they had chocolate bars up there with Huckleberries in it.
So, I know it's going to sound bad, but I'm going to do 1.25.
1.25. I'm going to go 1.5 on this one like the other one.
Yeah, as much as it was like...
The initial taste?
I love the Huckleberry flavor, but as a beer. So, not just as a flavor, but as a beer, it still tastes like there's two flavors to it. Like
it's got that after Huckleberry
like there's
taste to it.
two like weird... As much as I love the Huckleberry flavor, and I really want to try a Huckleberry now, like just as like blueberries and raspberries, I think as a beer though, that's where I'm marking.
Here, what I find with these is some of these flavored beers. I'm not big into the fruit beers.
No,
you know the old fruit your beer and all that. I'm just not into it. This for me, this is a beer that you drink one or two of, and I'm good, and I'm moving on to, something else after that. It's not a beer where I'm going to sit down and drink a 6-pack of them.
Yeah,
because after a while, but for one or two beers to sit and enjoy, summertime beer. Think of this in the hot summer.
Oh yeah, no,
this would be perfect. Or a woman's beer too. For women, women will probably sit and drink this all night long.
I'll say this: beer. It's much better than a cider.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It doesn't taste like a cider. It's an actual beer. It doesn't make me feel like ciders just haven't been sitting well lately, like the past year or so, just for whatever reason.
Well, they did a good choice by putting it in cream ale too, rather than like
a cider or something like that.
Exactly,
doing it this way.
Well, I mean, they add it to beer. It's better probably in a cream ale versus putting it in like a pilsner or a lager or just a standard ale.
Yeah, just doing it this way. It worked.
I think Laughing Dog did a good job with this one.
So 2.75 overall, just shy of 3. So we've had 2 good beers tonight.
2 pretty good beers. So one from Mexico and one from Idaho.
One from California.
Well, imported through them. It's San Miguel, which is supposed to be Mexico.
It said it was brewed in Irvine.
Did it actually say brewed there?
Yeah, it said
Irvine. I thought it said imported through there. I didn't realize it said brewed.
It's because they do it all in Irvine. Yeah. But, all right, guys. Well, we're at an hour, so we're good. We're
just over an hour. We actually cut it just over an hour tonight. So you look like you're getting tired, dude.
Yeah.
You kind of burnt out tonight or something?
I wake up so early. Late nights get harder and harder.
Hey, this dude's been running. What are you up to running now?
I just hit my last run was 3.5 miles.
3.5 miles
at a 13-minute pace.
Not too bad.
Which is slow. I get it, but hey, I was 300 pounds at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
I could barely run a mile.
That's an accomplishment, dude. That's huge.
Yeah. So 3.5 miles. So I'm up at 5.
And for everybody out there, I'm looking to put together another team here pretty soon. I'm going to do another 55-miler.
Yeah.
Do one of the major ultras again at
next
55
year?
miles. Yeah, I want to do one beginning of next year. I learned a lot on this one.
Yeah, for the next one.
To make it easier, make it better, get my training down a little bit better. So I'll do a lot better at the next one. I still accomplished this one in the time frame they give you.
You finished it.
But I finished it.
That's huge just in and of itself.
So it's a team event too, so you have to go as a team.
All right, guys.
Anyway, guys out there, make it a great week. We'll post all the beer ratings. Stop that crap.
Oh, yeah, I can't help it.
We'll post all the beer ratings, what we did. In fact, we never did finish posting last week. So
we'll have to get those out.
We'll get those out, too. I've got the labels on them, all the specs on the beers we did last year. I'll pull the specs on these ones.
Yeah, so we'll get those all
So we'll get the Bible verse of the week, some of the stories up that we talked about. We didn't hit the one with John MacArthur at all tonight. I thought about hitting the secular world a little bit.
We'll save that whole John MacArthur's social justice theological debate for
another
whole show.
Another time.
Yeah, it's going to be
that's going to be a lot because there's so much going on in society.
And the statement's
today,
very complex. Maybe we'll have to do the Nashville statement that he did, and we could do that statement, and then there was like a response to the Nashville statement, so we could do like Nashville and then like the counter.
We still got to get some people on here talking about your buddy and my buddy talking about
Islam.
For Islam. Yeah, we want to get some different opinions,
We'll do those. We'll have those conversations.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. We'll probably do that in another arena. I have another office here that we can do that in where we can all kind of sit together.
Where we can fit.
Yeah, we can fit in a little bit better, but we'll set that up.
But anyway, guys, make it a good week.
Yep, make it a great week. Peace out.
See ya.
Be good to each other.